Hello Factorio people, welcome back to the broadcasts. Please ignore the sound of biters destroying my stuff. It's irrelevant. I have done some things for you. Like, comment, subscribe. I've done some things for you. So let's go through what I've been doing in the last week of playing Factorio. God, I love Factorio. Every time I think maybe I'm bored of this game now. Nope, doesn't happen. I got the tank researched because obviously I've expanded a little bit too far, too brazenly, too deep and greedily, and there are biters in the way now. So I got a tank, and I went out and I did some just good old-fashioned killing, just some murder, you know. Uh, Here's a brief little, very small, possibly even it's small, but also maybe too large. I'm still ill as well, slightly. I'm recording. If you watch this video and the Balatro video and the previous Factorio video, they're all out of order. I recorded them and released them in the wrong order, so my illness levels are very up and down. Shush! Please, yes, biters are killing the thing. It's fine. I'm okay with it. I've made my peace with it. This makes explosive cannons from explosives, and then there's a bit of explosive runoff that goes into a chest because you need explosives later to do things like explosive rockets, landmines, cannon shells, artillery shells, etc. I forget to limit this chest, and as such I spend a lot of steel very quickly becomes an issue, but we'll get to that. So anyway, I take the tank, I go out, I do some killing. Let's see how that progresses, shall we? I mostly just take the tank and some defender robots and some artillery and some explosive cannon shells, I should say, and just kill some biter bases. It works quite well. As I say, as I've said numerous times before, combat in this game is not really my forte. And I've run out of defender capsules, and that also doesn't help. Good lord, look at the devastation I've wrought upon these guys. But, you know, if you don't know, the tank is pretty good. Spitters, it's not a fan of spitters. And we're in the big biter era as well now. But between yeah, this is too much, isn't it? Between explosive cannon shells, getting rid of the nests. If I had some defender capsules, you would see that they would just pick up the stragglers. It works quite well. So I do that for a decent amount of time until I'm basically happy with... Go away, please. Until I'm happy with my situation. But spitters are, yeah, spitters are the bane of the tank. And a few defender capsules just help out here. Another reason why I like the defender capsules, just because, you know, they pick up the stragglers, basically. They pick up the stragglers. Anyway, let me just go into the Factorioverse here and die, even though it's not going to make any difference, but just so that there is at least one timeline where the buyers get their revenge on me, you know? Okay, and we come back to the base. The killing has mostly ceased. The pollution from this coal also dissipates once the coal situation has... You know, once this is fully mined and filled, all of these chests with a decent amount of coal, and the train stops coming to pick up coal every now and then, the pollution from this kind of goes away. It was more this down here, and I think I do later go and kill these as well, just spoiler alert, but again, it's mostly just while I'm waiting for other things to happen. So we're back. I started building some productivity modules just because I realised that I probably should have always had prod module 1s in the labs for a long time, just to eke out a little bit of extra, what are they, 4% productivity, 2 in each lab, 8%. 8% more science packs per science pack. That's nothing but a value, is it? So now we can start thinking about the real, you know, what's really going on. We need robots. Robots was always what we were waiting for, you know? We need robots. Robots very quickly causes a problem with iron and steel. As you can see, our main iron patch here is under 200,000 now, and it's not looking great. We've still got the mini base, the bootstrap base over here that's not really doing much, but as I say, it's all a bit of a mess. I play Factorio very messily, as you probably have worked out by now. So let's jump forward again a little bit further in time as I work my way towards getting the robots done, and then there's a big sea change. A phrase that's called a sea change. I don't know what that means. Do the seas ever change? Apparently they do, and that's where we get the phrase from. So the robots, they need... I put engine units on the bus, didn't I? I mentioned this a long time ago. I was like, do you bus engine units? And I got them only ever this far, and then never actually carried them forward. So engine units make their way down now. They get turned into electric engine units, and then electric engine units get turned into robotic frames. And this is obviously a bit overkill here. 45 robots a minute. That's too many, man. That's too many. But, you know what? It is what it is. It's fine. And then some, what are these called? Roboports. And then we can start thinking about actually, I said the word actually there, we can start actually thinking about how the big expansion is going to happen, what form we would like that to take. Now I feel like this episode is going to be quite short in comparison to the amount of work I put in, because I did a lot of theory crafting. Do I want to use city blocks? Yes, no. What am I going to use if I don't use city blocks, etc, etc. And I came up with this. Now I called this save file, this version of the save file, they're not city blocks, okay? The blueprint looks like this. One, it's still chunk aligned, obviously, that was the plan. For some reason. It's really not important. Okay, if you're a beginner Factorio player, you're watching this because you like my content but you don't necessarily like Factorio or care about Factorio, but you're interested, maybe this is interesting you. Anyway, everything, city blocks, things being chunk aligned, it's all irrelevant, you know, it's just words that we say. I've never done a chunk aligned base. I've never had all of my builds sit neatly within chunks, and that's mostly because the game doesn't really want you to do that. Nothing really aligns itself to the chunk grid very well. You know, if you put a pylon here right on the border of between 4 chunks, it doesn't stretch neatly to the next chunk. It's, you know, it's 30, yeah, it's this far. So you can't even start with a nice baseline of like, oh, this will do, you know. So it already becomes messy in that regard. Sorry, I just realised walking around with the grid on may be causing weird artifacting issues with the video. Sorry, let's turn the grid off. So I've come up with this tileable blueprint. And the conceit that we have to make with this is very easy to tile. It's very, very easy to tile, right? Snap it to the grid, plop it down, whatever. Self-expanding, because each roboport will be in the range of the next roboport. Downsides, you're doubling up on pylons here, because you need a pylon on both sides to keep the symmetry and things like that. And you also don't have an uninterrupted logistics network. If you are travelling through and logistics robots are on their way to you with stuff, and you walk out of the orange zone into the green zone, that's going to break that request and it will reset when you walk in. Never ever really been a huge deal for me, caring about complete, unbroken, uninterrupted logistics request coverage. But it is certainly a deal breaker for some people, so, you know. But this is what I have decided to go with. This also has the nice benefits of, as you'll see later, the train blueprints do not get in the way of this at all. Whoops. No, spoilers. You know, it doesn't matter how the... Because the pylons and the roboports are on the chunk lines, but the rails are on the in the chunk set in the middles, they never clash. So all of my designs are out of the way of all of this as well. Yeah? The only problem is, of course, the station. Oh, that does, of course, mean that I have taken the pylons out of these blueprints, you may have noticed. I got rid of the pylons. I was like, I don't need the pylons in this. This was fine when I needed to just bring power out, but now that I'm going to be expanding into, you know, like when I want to mine this stone, I will just build the Roboport network over that far. Probably. You know, maybe I will do that. It's quite a long way for it to go, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But I feel like that is the case. But yes, the station one is the only one I'm umming and ahhing about, and you'll see a proper example of that later. But there are obviously some pairs of chunks here where if you build it, things are going to be in the way of loading and unloading. So if I get this blueprint out here, this one, this is fine. These two are fine. You see, it actually sits quite nicely, but the one below it is not fine at all. And that also precludes your stations from being on. So this blueprint is 2 chunks across. Repeats every. So your radars will only ever be if you were to count the chunks here and just say that that left hand side. I'm pointing at my own screen here like a boomer. This left hand side Roboport was 0 on the x-axis. The pylons with the radars on are only ever going to be on 1. On 1, 3, 5, you know, they're only ever going to be on odd numbered ones. So that's okay if your stations go there, and then you just get rid of these and put the station down in that space, or you don't do, you know. So let's jump ahead in time, and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about in that regard. So we're a bit further in time now, and I've expanded properly with some testing. Put the radars in. I think I forgot to put the radars in the initial version of the blueprint. The radars have a fair amount of overlap, but that is mostly okay. That's what you want, because they are going to some of these won't last forever. And I'm pretty happy with it. I'm pretty happy with it. It's always the case where you make these designs and you test it out, and then you think it's okay, and then you put it into practice and you realise, oh wait, that doesn't work, does it? Let me tell. But I do kind of like it, and it's not a city block, even though I guess it kind of is a city block, right? Because you are building blocks. There's nice space here in the middle. Your trains are going to go this way, or this way, to be more specific. Yeah, here, so that the unloading can go in this space like this. So it is still literally city blocks, but they're my city blocks, you know. And I'm not reinventing the wheel here. This is not a particularly esoteric design. I'll put the flipping roboports on chunk where 4 chunks meet and then power them. Whoop-de-doo. Well done, you've done it, mate. Science. How is your brain quite that large? But if I go forward even further in time, where I'm actually doing real proper things with it, you can see that I'm quite happy, I'm quite proud. If I dare say that word, say the P word there on YouTube, inviting a load of comments of people like, actually it's not very good because, it doesn't really work. But I think it does work. I think it does work. Between this, you know, just plopping stuff down. I really, really should have kept a version of the save file that before I'd done this. But honestly, like plopping all of these grid sections down and having it just work was really nice. It's possible here I've actually put my stations in the wrong place. Now that I think about it, and I am not too deep in it, it's possible that these stations should have actually been like on this one instead, and this one instead, rather than this, like, or even here, just not where I've put them, because they're currently right in front of the, because then that would have been what, there, and then there, because what I've had to do, once I've realised that mistake, is rearrange this, because this was my concern, obviously, is that this is supposed to be an unloading station here. You know, I'm going to have smelting columns coming here and going either south, probably south, just because there's coal here and I can run the coal up through the smelting columns without the need for a dedicated station. Looking at it, it's possible I should have built the stations on this set of chunks instead, but it's not a huge issue, I guess. I've done the work now. So even though this is ostensibly fine, it could have been even better than I designed it in the first place, if I just didn't rush forwards. But speaking of rushing forwards, let's rush forwards, shall we? To this is the plan. This is the plan. As I say, I had to rearrange this slightly, and I think possibly if I'd have maybe put these on this one instead, it would have been slightly more sensible than it is. But then I guess those smelting columns would be not in the city blocks neatly. So I guess you can't win. I guess you can't win. Also, I think at some point my... Oh no, this is fine. Yeah, these are the up and down ones, the pylons are on the north and the south, and left and right. They're on the left and the right. You know, that's fine. Sorry, I just got really paranoid. I know at one point that my this one got rotated and a whole bunch of them, the radar was in the wrong place. Woob, if you're listening, which I know you're not, can we have a box that says disallow rotating? Because I don't want this blueprint to ever rotate. Or even like a, you know, only allow 180 degree rotations or something like that, you know, so that, because this blueprint I only ever want it this way around, because if I accidentally press R when I'm holding it and I paste it down, then all of my radars are in the wrong place, quote unquote wrong place, you know, from a fake internet obsessive compulsive disorder point of view, not for any real reason. So this is the plan. Smelting columns. Probably iron, copper, steel. I'll expand this into this one, and then something else, you know, like 4 meaningless ones, 1 for stone, and something or whatever. Anyway, but this is the main plan. And then we'll just have a bus that goes either this way or this way. There is quite a large ocean here, which I have found when I was doing the combat, but I must have died, or something must have happened. But this is, if you remember the map generation settings from the first episode, I think we said huge swathes of ocean, please, just because it would be funny. And then the issue that this has brought across is that, well, we didn't, I've started tacking on a whole bunch of stupid stuff here, like, oh, I guess we need radars in a logistics chest, and oh, it must be even further in front, like pylons, power poles, all the train stuff needs to be in logistics chests. And then, as it so often does when you first get robots, you lose all of your power. So then I thought, right, well now I can actually put solar power into these empty grid sections. And I thought, to appease the people who I undoubtedly annoyed before when I talked about how solar grid ratio didn't matter, I thought, I'll try. Shall I? And here you go. Here it is. This sits exactly in this blueprint to the chunk edge. See? Goes exactly in there. And if you want to whip your old calculators out, folks, whip your calculators out, Control R, type calc, gets the Microsoft calculator up. 260 accumulators divided by 315 solar panels. 8.25. Sorry, 825 is the ratio of accumulators to solar panels. And the wiki tells you the optimal ratio is 8:4. So there you go. Alright, get off my flipping back. It's pretty good. Keeps the roboports, keeps the radars. Just tiles. Just tiles. So I plopped a whole bunch of those down. And here are the robots building them. Very slowly. Because I've kind of asked the base to do more than it's capable of doing right now. You know? Red circuit. Everything's drying up. Steel's drying up. Iron's drying up. Spaghettified it. I added another column of this so that some of the iron can go up here and help the steel go along. It's still not quite enough because I upgraded these to steel furnaces. Apparently I didn't upgrade them all, did I? Did a terrible job of that. I don't know why this isn't filling up both sides of the belt. It should. There's a non-red belt up there. Well, that's frustrating, isn't it? Not that that would solve all the problems, that one yellow belt being replaced, but, you know, green circuits drying up. Red circuits are also then drying up as a consequence. Red circuits are being poured into roboports, so that I mean, not that we need any more roboports, but you know, I still want a backlog of 83. No, that's not right. Quick, let's solve one problem at a time, please. And the main iron supply is dried up because this mine is now barely making enough to even supply this with enough iron ore, let alone. What was I needing to change this? Alright, cool, that's a little bit better. No, I don't have a stone furnace. Can I make one? I can. Brilliant. Nanobots don't work inside Roboport ranges as well, so you kind of just have to phase them out. And there's a thing you can buy? There's a thing you can make to put in your modular armor, but mostly when you get that far, it's just a sign to be like, nah, get rid of them. Cut them out now. Red belts are drying up. We've asked for a lot of red belts over here. It's steel and bricks, really. Steel and bricks are where the bottleneck's going to be for now, because we've asked it to do so many stone furnaces. But we got pylons. You know, I've tacked these on. This is going to be the last thing I add to this. I'm pretty sure. You know, there might be a few token extra things. Oh, I need a dedicated assembler to make. Oh, I don't know. I can't think of a good example, but you know. So basically we're going to just start again, but we will at least have, in theory, 8 belts of... What did I say? Did I want both of these to be iron? Or 1 copper and 1... That's silly. No, 1 iron, 1 copper, 1 steel. And then just, maybe I don't even need this. Maybe I could just use this for, like, bring bricks in and... or something like that. I guess my main annoyance right now is that I should have noticed that I could have built the stations in a better place. You know, I think maybe if I'd have put them here... This still looks okay, but it would have been even easier to deal with if I'd have just done this and have the unloading there in that space. Because this would fit. Like, let's get rid of the roboports and the pylons. And just say that that would be... What would it be? Be roughly there, based on where the signals are. I guess, yeah, I guess what I said before applies then, that the smelting columns wouldn't be nicely in these not city blocks. And the solar panels are coming along nicely. So yeah, we're very much in the expansion phase now. We are doing science as well, apparently. Science is still ticking over quite nicely, I can't complain. So, next plan on the docket mostly is just to set up some more mines. I don't think this 1 iron mine is going to cut it. You may have also noticed that this doesn't... It doesn't have... These stations don't have a stacker in them, like the train waiting area, but the reason I built this as far out as I did is because I thought at least 1 or 2 trains could wait here. Possibly only the 1, based on how I've done my signalling, which... yeah, a train can wait here and not clog anything up. I'll probably need to think about integrating some sort of stacker system, train waiting area in the future, but it shouldn't be a huge problem. If anything, I could integrate that at the mine side. Or just build a depot here or something. I'm not a huge fan of depots. I feel like they probably waste more time. But anyway, and then the coal will just come straight up through. I've built these this way around so that I can just mine the coal from here and not have to bring it in with a train. But yeah, we're going to build the big boy base. What I affectionately refer to as the big boy base. My male normality, my male lens. Iron, 4 lanes of iron, 4 lanes of copper, 4 lanes of iron being turned into steel. And we'll just start the base again, but bigger and better. So yeah, I thought this video was going to end up being shorter than it was. I made a lot of individual save files, I did a lot of transitions as you probably noticed, but not a huge amount of changes between each one except for these last couple. I spent most of my time in Factorio this week just theory crafting, as I say, trying to work out. I spent a lot longer on this grid section thing than I'd like to admit. And I did almost just go screw it and go back to a city block just because, you know, but I was like, no, I was determined, I'm going to do my own thing, even if somebody says, no, this person's already done basically exactly this blueprint. I don't know that, and you can't prove that I do. So I'm allowed to say that I made this. And if it's a little bit similar, then fine, so be it. But I like it. I'm happy with it. Might need to clear out some more biters soon, but that's fine. That's why I'm doing some researching, laser shooting speed, etc. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Please let me know how you feel about the base and Factorio and YouTube in general, and your life as well, I guess. Really kind of thought that this would never insert into this because it's on a slight bend, but I think we've gotten away with it, boys. We've gotten away with that one. Right, yes, thank you, that's the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please let me know with a like or a comment, and if you want to see more Factorio, please be sure to subscribe. Other than that, take it easy, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.